Hey, what's going on, sports cards fans? Ray from Philly here on Tuesday night, January 11th, and I'm here to do another book review. This here is my seventh book review that I started about a year ago. I've been having a lot of fun reading baseball books. I'm a baseball nerd and geek, so I just not only love baseball cards, I love the history of the game and learning about things in the past or players' biographies and situations that happened in the game. It's just right up my alley. So in the first six episodes, I did a book review on Dick Allen, The Life and Times of a Baseball Immortal, Ty Cobb, A Terrible Beauty, Willie Mays, 24 Life Lessons and Stories on the Say Hey Kid, Satchel, written by Larry Tye, the Cooperstown Case book, and the last one I did was Yogi, written by John Passat. This one today, my seventh book, is called Baseball Gods and Scandal, Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, and the Dutch Leonard Affair, written by Ian Kahanowitz. Right there. The book came out a couple years ago in 2019. The publisher is Summer Game Books, and it's an easy read. It's about 248 pages. I got through this book from Christmas till now, which is really, really quick for me. But I wrote down some notes as I was reading the book, and it's a huge scandal. If you guys are familiar with the 1919 Black Sox scandal, where 8 guys in the Chicago White Sox threw the World Series, then this will be, if you're into that, this will be right up your alley of the Dutch Leonard Affair with Tris Speaker and Ty Cobb and Smokey Joe Wood. So basically, it starts off with who Dutch Leonard was. Dutch Leonard was a very good pitcher in the early 1900s. 1912 had a great season. I think won 30 games that year. Was a fantastic, fantastic pitcher. Then, like all pitchers at that time, blew his arm out and couldn't pitch anymore. And his main business was he was a farmer. So farming, he made more money farming than he did playing baseball. So he was always a troublemaker kind of a guy. He played for the Detroit Tigers, would always drive the owner Navin, N-A-V-I-N was his last name, always would drove him crazy, his players crazy, was a guy that always was complaining, was just a troublemaker for the Detroit Tigers throughout his whole career. And then eventually Ty Cobb became the manager of the Detroit Tigers. So when Dutch Leonard blew his arm out, he was trying to get back in baseball with the Detroit Tigers, and Cobb didn't want to have anything to do with it. He was also friends with Tris Speaker, and Tris Speaker was now a manager also with the Cleveland Indians, and he tried to get a job with the Cleveland Indians, and Tris Speaker wasn't having anything to do with that. So both Cobb and Speaker pretty much turned their backs on Dutch Leonard. So you can see where this is going now. So now Dutch Leonard already had it in for Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker. So lo and behold, a game comes up in 1919. The exact date is September 25th, 1919. And it's a game between the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Indians. Now, back in that time, when the team that finished first in the American League, the team that finished in first got a first place prize winnings. Second place in that American League and that whole league got a second place prize, and third place got a third place prize. So after that game, or before or after that game, under the bleachers between Detroit and Cleveland, Dutch Leonard approached Cobb, Speaker, Smokey Joe Wood, and a fourth person that was not a player, but it was an employee for the team, and approached them to say, look, you guys why don't you throw this game to guarantee, because it was either Detroit or Cleveland that was trying to get for third place, and the other team had no shot. They were in sixth place. So the team that was in sixth place, which I think might have been Detroit, they had no shot at third place. Cleveland had a shot at the third place prize. So Dutch Leonard proposed that, throw the game this way. The Detroit or Cleveland can get the third place prize money. Well, as they're thinking of this, they're all standing around and say, well, if that's going to be the case and we know who's going to blow the game, why don't we bet on it and make a few bucks on the side? So there, Dutch Leonard says he knows somebody, take care of it from there on out. They'll get the bet done. They showed the box scores of the game afterwards. Now, Smokey Joe Wood was the guy that was really the head of all those two players of Speaker, Cobb, and Wood. He was going to be the guy that was going to be placing the bets and taking care of the money with Dutch Leonard. So nothing ever happens of it. Now, mind you, this happened September 25th, 1919, 1 week before the World Series of the Black Sox scandal with the White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. This happened 1 week before the World Series. So during the next few years, Dutch Leonard is making this big stink. He can't get back in the game. He wants to get back in the game. Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker will have nothing to do with him. He then goes to then president of the American League, Ban Johnson. Now, the story about Ban Johnson was Ban Johnson bought the then known Western League and changed it all around, changed the name, which then later became the American League. And the only major league at that time was the National League. The Western League wasn't a major league. Ban Johnson bought the Western League and made it into a major league, changed the name to the American League, joined forces with the National League. There you have then the major leagues. Ban Johnson changed the American League for a lot of good. The National League had a lot of rowdyism, a lot of drunkenness, a lot of fights, a lot of this, a lot of that. And Ban Johnson wanted to make this a wholesome game where there was no rowdiness. He took the rowdiness away. He took the fighting away, took the drinking away. There was no drinking at games. He made the American League into a pure family, wholesome sport, which he did. So now, by this time, it's now 7 years after 1919. It's 1926. Dutch Leonard has two letters written between Ty Cobb and Smokey Joe Wood about this bet in 1919. He presents the two letters to the American League president, Ban Johnson. Ban Johnson, who at this time now is losing power in baseball because Judge Landis now comes in after the World Series of 1919 to be the commissioner of all of baseball. And Ban Johnson's health is starting to fail, and he's losing power. And there's jealousy between Ban Johnson and Judge Landis. So Ban Johnson is talking to Dutch Leonard about this, and at first dismisses it, wants nothing to do with it. Dutch Leonard then goes to the Detroit Tigers owner, Navin, and presents him these letters from Ty Cobb to Smokey Joe Wood. And the owner of the Tigers, Navin, sees this as, this is really bad. He contacts the president, Ban Johnson, says, look, you really should know about this. You shouldn't dismiss this. This guy Dutch has some incriminating evidence against two of your greatest names, Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker. I think you really need to take a look at this. So Ban Johnson then decides to call in Dutch Leonard. He calls in Dutch Leonard, and what does he do? According to this book, and it's all recorded, Ban Johnson pays off Dutch Leonard $20,000 to not say nothing, and he would take care of it. He didn't want to bring it to Judge Landis because he still wanted to show power. And he would take care of it himself. He said, it's an American League problem, I'll take care of it. And how he took care of it was paying off Dutch Leonard $20,000. How did Judge Landis get a hold of this? Judge Landis got a hold of this because the owners didn't like what was going on. They approached Ban Johnson about this and said, we don't trust this guy. It's going to come out. You really should let Judge Landis know. We're going to let him know. They let Judge Landis know. Judge Landis comes in and says, okay, I'm going to call in for a hearing with Dutch Leonard, Tris Speaker, Ty Cobb, and Smokey Joe Wood. Cobb shows up, Speaker shows up, Smokey Wood shows up. Dutch Leonard is nowhere to be found. Why? Because he was already paid off by Ban Johnson, didn't have anything to do with it anymore. So that kind of helped the case between Cobb and Speaker and Wood, because when they see the guy who is making these accusations and showing the letter, when he's not there to face his guys that he's accusing, doesn't hold much water for Dutch Leonard. So Judge Landis then has this hearing, and As he's conducting the hearing, of course, Cobb, Speaker, and Wood say we had nothing to do with it. But Joe Wood, the guy that's the most interesting character here of the three is Smokey Joe Wood. He comes out and tells Judge Landis, look, Cobb and Speaker had nothing to do with it. I asked if they wanted to be involved in it. They wanted nothing involved with it. I placed the bet. I made the bet. Judge Landis then exonerates Cobb and Speaker. But Ban Johnson, before Ban Johnson told Judge Landis, I missed the whole part here. Before Ban Johnson told Judge Landis, when he interviewed Cobb and Speaker and Wood, he said, look, well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to resign from the game. And Cobb resigned in December. 1 week later, Speaker then resigned. People were like, this is odd. The two biggest names in baseball, Cobb and Speaker, both resigned as managers a week apart. And they knew nothing of what was going on with this Dutch Leonard thing with the accusation of betting on a game in 1919. Ban Johnson was trying to save face for Ty Cobb and Speaker and not ruin or tarnish their legacy by saying, walk away and nothing will be heard of this. So Cobb and Speaker agreed to do it. They resigned. Because if you notice, in 1928, you see a picture of Cobb and Speaker playing for the Philadelphia Athletics on the same team. And you got to say to yourself, how can that happen? There was no free agency at that time. They had the reserve clause, remember, back then, where ownerships owned the rights of these players on a year-to-year basis. They could re-sign them year to year, basically forever. So how did this happen? Because Ban Johnson, the American League president, made Ty Cobb and Speaker resign, and Ty Cobb and Speaker resigned, and the press was asking them why. Well, we're tired. We're just taking a break. Once Judge Landis gets a hold of this a year later, he brings the guys back, and you see them go inside because now they're pretty much free agents because they had resigned. They signed with the Philadelphia Athletics. The interesting part here is there any truth to this matter? Did they, in fact, bet on that game in 1919? Well, according to Smokey Joe Wood, to Judge Landis, he says no, they had nothing to do with it. Here's the interesting part of this. Some 50 years later, in a book by writer Lawrence Ritter called The Glory of Their Times, and a lot of people say that is the greatest baseball book ever written. I've heard the book. I didn't read the book. I've heard there's a CD out that you could buy and listen to the book, and I've listened to it. And there's an interview with Lawrence Ritter in 1965. Lawrence Ritter's interviewing Smokey Joe Wood, and he brings up the Dutch Leonard affair. And Dutch Leonard says, please don't say anything to anybody. I don't want this to get out in the papers. This is what really happened with the Dutch Leonard affair. Pretty much saying that, yeah, Cobb and Speaker did bet on that game. He took the fall for them in 1926 with Judge Landis. Amazing. So basically, Smokey, what would have happened if Judge Landis, when he interviewed or brought to a hearing Cobb and Speaker, and then decided not to still bring them back and still had them suspended, 100% would have ended baseball. So it wasn't the Black Sox scandal that really threatened the game of baseball, because the Black Sox scandal, according to this book, basically was just, okay, you guys blew a World Series. We found the evidence on you. Here's your punishment. It was going to be 1 year suspension. This was the one that was more scandalous because you had the American League president covering up Ban Johnson, Cobb covering up, Speaker covering up, Smokey Joe Wood covering up, Dutch Leonard accusing, and pretty much to an extent Judge Landis covering up, because he knew while he's interviewing Cobb and Speaker during this hearing, he realizes that he didn't clean up baseball as well as he thought since the 1919 Black Sox scandal, that there was still gambling going on. And if this got out and he made his decision to permanently suspend Cobb and Speaker, baseball would not be existent today. So basically, Pete Rose can thank Ty Cobb for not getting in the Hall of Fame, because if Cobb and Speaker didn't bet on that game in 1919, that clause by Landis probably would have never happened. Maybe it would have down the line, who knows. But great book, great read. Baseball Gods and Scandal, Ty Cobb, Speaker, and the Dutch Leonard affair. I highly recommend it. And it even pretty much confirms it, because Smokey Joe Wood, in the glory of their times, was adamant to Lawrence Ritter. He goes, I never even told my own brother this story. You're the first person I've told. And you figure, well, why is he telling Lawrence Ritter this story? By the time he interviews with Lawrence Ritter, he's in his late 70s. He's thinking he don't care now. He wants the story to come out. Who cares? And he tells Lawrence Ritter, but at the same time, he doesn't want it to come out. Lawrence Ritter had those documents under archives at Notre Dame. Ian Kahanowitz got a hold of the transcripts in Notre Dame, and you hear the second version, because there's two versions in the glory of their times. The clean version that Smokey Joe Wood gives to Lawrence Ritter, and the not-so-clean version, and it's all here. Smokey Joe Wood comes out and admits that, yeah, they betted on that game in 1919 so that it was Detroit or Cleveland can get the third place prize. Amazing, amazing story. So there's the book, Baseball Gods and Scandal. Highly recommend it. Great book. Let me know what you guys think. Really, really interesting book. I appreciate it, guys. I'll be back later on tomorrow or Thursday with continue with my Reggie Jackson PSA Basic Tops run. Stay tuned for that. Take care, guys. Stay warm if you're in Philly, and see you real soon. Bye-bye.